Hey Stats class, we are going to go over our 7-3 homework using the Chapter 7 Spreadsheets, the confidence intervals calculator. So in Chapter 7 we are dealing with, instead of bell-shaped distributions like Z and T, we are dealing with what's called the chi-square distribution. And so when we have a chi-square distribution, we have to realize that there's no symmetry. There aren't negative numbers, so we do have to make sure that we understand that it's a completely different type of calculation than the probabilities and things that we used in Z and T. Okay, so if you look at what we're doing here, we got to go through the number of degrees of freedom. Degrees of freedom is still similar to what we have been dealing with the T distributions when we're dealing with means. So if our sample size is 28, our degrees of freedom is 27. Alright, and now the left and right chi-square distribution, or the left and right critical values of the chi-square distribution, that's found on our sheet here. So I have chi-square left, chi-square right here, and these are used in coming up with the confidence interval. They're the denominators in these things that are in the confidence interval. And this is variance, actually. So if I wanted to find for this, if I want to do standard deviation at this notation, I would need to take square roots. But this is all you need to be able to do for what we're doing here. So we need to plug in the confidence level is 90 here. We need to come up with S is 0.28 and N is 28. Now we're putting in N here. We're not putting in the degrees of freedom. So make sure some of these we actually do plug in the degrees of freedom. Okay. So just be careful when you're doing this. Okay. All right. Our left value for chi-square, which is based on our confidence level and our sample size, is 16. What was that? 16.15. We want to round to 3 places, so 16.151. And then our right chi-square is 40.113. Alright, and then we want to know what is the confidence interval estimate. So we go from the lower to the upper. Our lower is to 2 places, 0.23, and our upper is 0.36. Alright, so there is the confidence interval, the lower and upper. Alright, these are your critical values. Okay, so make sure you're not putting these things in the wrong place. Alright, let's update our sheet. Let me move this so we don't need to see that formula. I'm just giving you the formula so if you were curious. But let's do another one. Alright, we got 99% confidence. Oops, wrong cell. 99% confidence. 25 is our sample size, and this time S is 65.4. Alright, degrees of freedom is 1 less than the sample size, so 24. The left is 9 point, I want 3 places, so 886. The right is 45.559. Alright, and then our confidence interval is these 2 numbers right here. Do make sure you make note that it's telling you to round to 1 decimal place down here. Alright, so there is our confidence interval. And same thing's going to happen with all of these. The only thing is when you get to this one that has a data set, don't forget I made one down here that says standard deviation with data. So if we click on that guy, we can copy this just like we've done before. I have to copy it again, so Control C, copy. And then we'll go over here, I'm going to delete this whole row of values, and then I'm going to paste everything in there. wants a 98% confidence interval, so let's change this to 98. And so now our numbers become 155.0 to 1 decimal place and 441.2 to 1 decimal place. Alright, so if we have data, we just use the data sheet and either type all those numbers in or copy and paste it. I would much rather copy and paste it. You just have to copy, go up to the top, click on the top cell, hit delete. Alright, go to the first cell, paste. Okay, and make sure you update your confidence level. So this is 98 also. So this is a 93 or 95 or 96. You'd have to change that. Just make sure you change that. Alright, and then our lower and upper is 3.1 to 8.8. And there's our 7-3 homework done. Okay, so make use of these sheets, and they're going to save you a ton of time over going through the process of doing the examples and finding these critical values via tables. And then, of course, you have to remember what we're estimating. We're estimating the population standard deviation that comes from what we're sampling. Our sample is representative of data that was only obtained at this time. So no, we'd have to get it from multiple times to be able to do it for all driving times. Alright, so once again, there is your 7.3 homework with the chi-square distribution. Just make sure you change the confidence level. That's the biggest thing that people make mistakes on here.